Hi guys, Sensei Jamie here. Today we're going to talk about our angles. In our movement series, you saw that we first started off what our stances should look like. Then we moved into what our neutral bounce should look like. Remember, our neutral movement or our bounce is just what we're doing while we're observing and getting ready to either have an action or a reaction to techniques. Now we're going to move up and talk about how do we move when we're reacting or we're creating an action while we're fighting. So basically our neutral bounce is how we move when we're doing nothing. And then now we're going to go into what we should look like when we're doing actual techniques, getting ready to do techniques, offensive or defensive. To do that, we got to understand the angles. Where are we going when we do make those explosive movements to get out of the way or get in the way of the direction that we want to go? One thing to help us do that, my first sensei showed me this when I was 11 years old. It's a training star. And the training star, what it does, it shows us all the angles that we would move while we're fighting around somebody. So this is basically what you want to picture on the floor when you're sparring. What I like to do, what you'll see me do, is I like to move my bag in front of it. So that way you guys can kind of see when you angle an attack or angle in defense, where your body actually lines up when you have a sparring partner, or your bag like I do when I have to train by myself. All right, so basically just think of, there's total of 8 movements when we talk about our different angles. But let's think about it, how we make this. It's easy to make. All you want to do is you want to make a giant plus sign. That gives you your forward, backward, left, right. And then in between those angles, you just put an X right on top of that. And then that's going to give you the different angles. So what you guys want to picture is that long line right here in the front that starts here and goes straight up. This is me. The other side would be your opponent. So I'm on this side. My opponent would be on this side. These are the different full angles of getting out of the way. And then these are like the half angles that I want to use when I get out of the way, okay? So we're going to talk about the basic ones in this video, okay? So the basic ones would be angling to the right or angling to the left. For our new students or beginners when it comes to fighting and movement, you can do that by moving the back foot first, okay? Yes, you can use either leg or whatever, but for the beginners, to really get an understanding of how your body moves, we're just gonna use right now the back leg, okay? So I'm gonna use a fighting stance that's gonna put my left foot in front and my right foot in back, okay? So as you can see, you can't see the straight line because I'm right in front of the person that's trying to hit me. So he's on the other side of the line, I'm on this side of the line. So these are straight on techniques that he would be able to throw. Now, if I want to get out of the way, if I want to go to the right side, what I want to do is I want to step forward. What I see a lot of people do is that they try to step way over here back, away from the star. If I'm stepping away from the star, that means I'm stepping away from my opponent. So when I adjust, I'm going to be really, really far from my opponent or my star. So we don't want to step back. We want to get out of the way of their techniques, but we don't want to run away out of the fight. So my front here, so you guys can see it, my front foot is at that line. My partner or whoever I'm fighting would be directly on the other side. Now we're going to do that, take that step again, but this time I'm just going to step forward. Okay, I'm just going to step straight. Now, in the video, it may be hard to see, but I'm right now in a front stance. My body is straight out of the way. So once I do that first step out of the way, my front foot is just going to slide over and adjust. Once I adjust, now you see my foot is in front of the X. Now I'm totally off to the side of that angle, and now you can see that line where my partner or the person that I'm fighting would be at. So once again, so both my feet are lined up. If I want to move to the right, I'm just going to move my back foot. This is my back foot. I'm going to slide that forward. My right foot, my back back foot, I'm just gonna step forward, and then I'm just gonna adjust my stance with my foot in my X. So now I'm on that offline on that angle. So we're gonna do it the other way now. So what if I wanna move to the left side? Same thing, I am going to move my back foot. Remember, when I move my back foot, I don't want that giant step, okay? Again, this is like the other side. You do that giant step. As you can see, when I do this is a good angle to show you guys that when you do these giant steps, it takes a lot of time for you to actually get out of the way, because since my front foot is still on the line, even though I stepped away over here, I'm still in the way because this takes a lot to adjust. And then again, once I adjust, even though I'm on this line, I stepped back here, so I'm really far away from that partner. So again, just like before, I would just want to step straight back, okay? I step straight back, and my back foot is actually aligned with that line, and then I adjust my front foot on there. So now I'm out of the way. So watch again. In my fighting stance, my back foot slides to that angle. My back foot should be right behind that X line. And then I'll just adjust my foot and my stance to where I'm right behind here if I want to do my techniques after from there. So again, in my fighting stance, I move right. It's going to be my right foot. Remember, my right foot should only step enough to where it's at the bottom of my X on my start. So that's where my front foot should be. And then I'll adjust my front foot in front of my back foot, which puts me right here at that side of the X. That's where you want to be. Same thing with the other side. I'm in my fighting stance. Right here in my star, I slide my right foot back and then adjust, and that puts me right here on this side of the X. So you just want to make sure when you're doing your angles, you basically want to go in front of your T and to front of your new T, which is an X. So your X is here, and then I go back to the first T, my big T, my little T. Big T, my little T. Got it? Getting out of the way. Same thing, going the other side. I'm on my big T, on my small T, which is my little X. But now it looks like a T because I'm at that angle. So that's what you guys kind of want to make sure you see. It's almost like when you're facing this way, it's a T, and then you're facing the new T, and then you're facing the new T every time you do your angles. So those are the basic angles, left and right with your back foot. Left and right with the back foot. That's basic. All you have to do now is remember from the first videos our stance, and then remember from the second movement video our neutral bounce. And now when we do our angles, the moves are explosive. So remember, this is our neutral bounce. And then when I angle, I don't want to angle and bounce the same as as my neutral bounce. So if I'm here and I'm bouncing and somebody's throwing a technique at me, well, what I want to do is step, step out of the way. I like to say step, step. So I'm bouncing, 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 step, step. Bouncing, 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 step, step. So if I'm here, I'm bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Somebody's trying to hit me, bouncing, 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 step, step. Getting out of the way just that quick. Because I got to move fast as somebody's kicking me. I can't go bouncing, 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 step, bouncing, bouncing, step with the bounce. That won't work. So it's got to be, I'm here in my fighting stance, somebody's trying to kick me, step, step, out of the way. So that way I can follow up. Back here in front, somebody's trying to kick me, step, step, out of the way. Here in my angle. Here we go again. Bouncing, 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 step, step, out of the way. Bouncing, bouncing, step, step, out of the way. Now, I'm breaking it down really slow, so you guys will notice when I do my step, step, I pause a little bit so you can see my new angle. But you actually don't want to pause. You guys want to make sure that once I'm here and I do this step, it should be step, step, back to my neutral bounce. 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 You always want to go to that neutral bounce, step, step, neutral bounce, step, step. So these are the beginner angling.